Hello students, so welcome back to the week 11 practical session in which we are going to develop that particular specific application which will connect to the REST API. And in the lecture I have told you that this is the place where you can find the REST APIs which are present. So based on your topic you can find different type of REST API. So we are more interested in this particular specific metaweather.com/API. So we are going to work on that. We can search the location and then we can find a specific what you can say that the information about the weather for that particular specific location based on the where on earth id. Okay, so if we just try to search something like that /api location search and query, and then you can change whatever. For example, I am from Lahore, so if I just do that, it is going and bring me some all the locations which has LAH inside it. So Oklahoma and then Lahore. So we have that particular specific web on like if I just say that this one. Okay, this is the where on earth id, and then I can just try to replace that particular specific where on earth id, and then we can say that today is 12th of October. So I say 12 and then press enter, and then it will give me the information about the weather of that particular specific location which I have just taken Lahore, and it will give me the information like that. So let's start with a new project. Okay, and new project, we have to select the name. Maybe we can say that it's a practical demo. Fine, we can go next, and then it will start creating that particular specific project for us. Still working on that particular specific project, building that project, linking all those requirements and so on. So once we have that particular specific project, as I told you in the lecture, that whenever now we need to connect with the network adapter of your device, and that is external from our project, and if we want to access it, we need to add a specific permission in our Android manifest file. So we go into that particular specific file, and then we say that we want to use permission, and then right on top, because I have used in the, but you can always internet, so you can say that internet, you can close that particular specific thing, then again you can use permission, then you say network access, so you to access network status or change network status. But that is what we are not, I mean, this is more like you want to check if network status, I'm talking about the network status. So it's more like if you want to download a big file, but you don't want to download that particular specific file when you are using your network service provider, the internet service provider, or the mobile service provider data packet, you don't want to use it. The reason is that you have limited package inside your account, and then if you want to use if and you don't want to use that for a big files to be downloaded. So you can check that either we are connected with the Wi-Fi or either we are using the mobile data packet. So based on that, we decide that we want to download or not. So if you want that kind of a situation, then you need to add that particular network subsidy. But right now we are just say that we want to access the internet. Doesn't matter that which specific internet we are using. So we put that particular specific permission here. Good, one thing. And the other thing is then we need to do a few things. Number one thing, that we need to have a what we can say that a specific model And the network operations are not allowed on the main thread. Like you can't have something like this in this particular specific thing. HTTPS URL connection is equal to null, and then you can say that URL is equal to new URL, and then here you say that www.google.com. So what it will do, if I just try to do that, and then you say that you want to connection is equal to URL dot get connection, and actually you need to convert it into the HTTPS connection. So we can say that HTTPS connection, and then you say connection dot connect. So if I just try to do that particular specific, right now we haven't done anything, so now it is giving me some error. Okay, what is that particular specific error? We have a string. Okay, we need to have that particular specific http colon / or https colon / okay, let me new URL based on the string. Yes, then what's the problem? Let me see. It's saying that surround by try catch, because you are doing some a network operation which can throw some exceptions. So we are trying to put that particular again, this one I need to put that particular specific thing here as well. And then if I just try to go into that one, you need to add a catch clause because it is throwing a different type of exception. So yeah, so if I just try to do that and run that particular specific application, and you will see we have the log cat. Okay, we don't want to run it on that particular specific. That is a very annoying type of Android simulator. Okay, so we want to run it on this one. Fine, exit code, and here it is. It is trying to come up, and then look at that, it's stop that particular specific main activity. And if you look at that in the log cat, if you look at the error, it is going to give you the error message, network on main, look Android.os network on main thread exception. So what we are saying that in the main thread you are trying to perform a network operation, and which is not allowed in the Android system. Why it is not allowed, I will give you the demonstration shortly, because that particular specific UI is going to stuck for some time. You cannot interact with it. It's irresponsive for some time unless and until it is finished that particular specific. So you can't do that particular specific things on the main activity. So what you need to do, you need to create the connect, what you can say that the threads. So as I told you before, that async task that was used for the creating the threads and separate threads where you can do some network operation or the database operation. I give you the example of that one in the earlier sessions, but that is deprecated. That is no longer being supported. I mean, in the future, it is no longer being supported by the Android system. So it's better that we can try to find some other way to do the threading. So we stick to the basic Java threading. So if we look at our Java system, we have that particular specific runnable interface. So we can create a class which implement that particular specific runnable interface. There are some issues with that, but that is the simplest way to implement threading inside it. So what we can do here, we can not now. We first of all, I'm just trying to make a separate package, that is our data model. So in that particular specific package, we can implement that class. For example, we want to search a location, so we can say that meta whether search location handler, and then here we can say that implements runnable. When as soon as we say implement runnable, it say that you need to override the run method. So you say alt enter, and you want to implement that run method. So here whenever you start that particular specific thread or execute that thread, it is going to run that particular specific run method or execute that run method. Fine. But before that, we can come to this particular specific situation that where you start developing the things, we need to look at our data. So this is the query. For example, we can say that this one is the base one, this is the locations and the search, and then the query, and then whatever that string you want, put it here. So this is the string or the search string that is going to be added here. Fine. And if you look at the data, we have a title, we have a location, we have a where on the earth ID, and we have a latitude and longitude values. These three values are the strings, but this particular one value is the what you can say that it is a number value. It's a number. Is in, I would rather say that it's a long value because it's a big number. So instead of having the integer value, we will try to have the long value so that we can save those things. So first of all, we need to have that particular location class, location, and in that particular specific location we have a long value that is actually what you can say that where on earth ID, and then we also have string values, title, let me title, location type, and then we also have the longitude and latitude and longitude values. Fine. And what we want, that we want to read the information from the REST API, save them inside our local database, and from the local database we are showing them inside our user interface as a live data. So if we want to use the room architecture, it means that we need to add that particular specific dependency. So you know very well how to add that particular specific dependency. So what I will do, I will go into the and copy those dependencies, open my build application Gradle file, and then here write on that dependency I'm just going to add, and then I say I want to sync that particular dependency. So once we are sync successful, so we go into the location. Now we can make that particular specific location as an entity, and then we can say that table name locations. Okay, I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. I'm not going to change the what you can say that column information. So I just need to create a constructor for that. This one constructor, we also need to have the getter methods. Okay, we also have to read the setter methods. So I'm just trying to like create all those so one entity is being done. Okay, so the other thing is that I just want to make sure that this is the primary key. This where on the earth ID is the primary key, and I will also generate one more constructor that is the default constructor with no parameter inside it. So location, and it is not doing anything. I mean, I'm just creating that particular constructor here. Why, I will tell you later on, because when we are reading the data, so first of all we need to create a location object with any kind of information, without any kind of information inside it, and then later on at that particular specific location we will set the value of the where on earth ID, we set the value of the title, we set the value of the location type based on the data that we are reading from the internet. Okay, so that's why I created that particular specific empty constructor for that one. We also have a constructor with this one, First you need to get all those values and then you do it, or you can create an empty object and then you set all those values. Okay, so this is the location. Now if we look at the second part where we want to, like, we copy we take that particular specific Veronath ID and put it inside the what you can say, the inside our URL, and then we give the date on which exact date we want to get the weather information, then it will give us the information. If I don't give that particular specific location, for example, if I just try to remove that particular date information, then it is going to give me a what you can say, that it is going to give me information like that. Okay, so who is the parent? So here we will the title is Pakistan, country, location, Veronath ID, because that's Lahore is the city in Pakistan. And then what are the sources for that particular specific data or weather information that we are having? What is the title, what is the location type, what is the Veronath ID, latitude and longitude values, time zone of that particular specific location, when it is a sunrise, what is the time at this particular specific time, sunset, time zone name, and so on. And then in the consolidated weather we have the weather information. But if we try to put that particular specific Veronath ID and then we give the specific date on it, then it is not going to return us a big object, rather it will give us a list of the weather information objects. So these are what you can say, that the weather information where we have, it has 13 different information ID. Again, it's a long weather state name, weather state abbreviation, weather or wind direction, at what time it is created, time and date, or at what applicable date. This is the date that where we are sending it, and it will try to get the information from that day and the previous 4 days. And then what is the minimum temperature, what is the maximum temperature. So these values which are in the green or which are from the minimum temperature till the predictability, they are all, you can say, they are the floating values. Okay, and one other thing that I would like to show you here, that sometimes the visibility information is not there. When the informations are missing, then they put the null, null, as a string rather than the integer value or the information itself. So sometimes it is possible for these informations we have a null value. Okay, so we need to make sure that we are handling that particular specific situation as well. So this is the second data part or second data information that we need to save. So this information is more like a weather results. Okay, so maybe I can go into my data model, and then I start having that class weather result. Okay, and then I can say that this class is actually an entity, date of entity, table name, weather results. And then here one thing that we need to have it is where on earth ID. This is exactly the same that we are trying to have it, which this is an additional information which we are assigning to that particular specific record. So we know that this particular specific weather record belongs to which specific location. Okay, so just want to make sure that we can search the results based on specific ID. Fine. And then of course we need to have that particular specific primary key, which is actually the ID. Okay, primary key is the ID, and then we have the string and the floating values, which are, I'm just trying to copy paste the things here. So ID is the long, this ID is actually this one, this information, that is the ID representing a unique value. Then we have the Veronath ID to and then we have the string information, weather state name, weather state abbreviation, weather state applicable date, and the minimum temperature, maximum temperature, the temperature at that specific time when we are recording that record, wind speed, directions, and predictability, and so on. So once we have done that thing, So what we need to do, we need to create the constructors and the setters and the getter methods. You know that how to do that control command n or the control n. I want to create a constructor, so let me select none. I will just try to put this constructor here, select none. I can also have multiple constructors. Okay, so we can say that we have all the values, and then we put that particular specific constructor here. Then we can also have the getter methods, and then we also have the setter methods. So once we have done all those things, so if we look at that, we have the two entities. One is a location, one is the weather result. And then what we need to have that particular specific DAO, okay, which is help us to communicate with that particular specific. So I want to make an interface. It's meta weather DAO object. It is at the rate of DAO. Yeah, it is a DAO. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to what you can say that copy paste the information from my other project which I have already. Instead of the consolidated weather, we give the name as a weather result. Okay, we don't give, we change the name of that particular specific. So weather result, so weather results. Okay, from weather results, did we give, yeah, weather results, that is fine. So we have, look here in that particular specific DAO, what we are saying, we want to insert a location, or we want to insert a list of locations. We want to insert a weather, or we want to insert a weather list of weather locations. And in case of conflict, that particular specific weather has already, location has already been there, or the weather result is already there, so it will abort, it will not override. Maybe we can say that replace. It will make things easier for us. It will replace the previous values, fine, no problem. And then we also have, we want to read all the locations, and we want to read the weather results based on a specific where on authority, or we want to read the locations information based on a specific string that we are providing as a search string here. This search string, based on that particular specific information, it will return me only these two cities instead of having all the cities which are present in the locations which we have searched earlier or added earlier before. Okay, so we want to search only the locations which has a specific string inside it, or we can get the results, weather results for a specific what you can say where on earth ID. And we can also improve that thing based on the applicable date, because that applicable date is the current date or something. So yes, we can improve this thing, but right now we try to make it as simple as possible. So we have a DAO, and then you know that the last part for handling the room architecture or room database or the SQL local database is that we need to create a database class. So we can say that meta weather database. Okay, and then in the meta weather database, what we need to tell that at the rate of okay, and this is a public abstract class. It should be at the rate of database. Inside the database we have entities is equal to location dot class and weather result dot class. So we have two entities inside it, and then we say that version is equal to 1, and then we can say that export schema is equal to false. So we provide that particular specific information, and then here we have private static meta weather database is equal to null. I mean, we are creating the instance of this particular specific database class here. We will initialize with the static method, and then we also have a public static. It will return me the DAO. Okay, get meta weather DAO, and it does not take anything. It is a public abstract, not static. It is abstract method. Okay, which is going to be implemented automatically by the Room framework. We are not going to implement. And then at the end we have a public static meta weather database is going to return create database instance, and it is going to take the context. Okay, and then we check if database is double equal to null, then we are going to create a new one. Database is equal to room room dot database builder, and then here first thing is we get the context or get application context, and then the last thing we are saying that the metadatabase dot class we need to tell that where, I mean, what are the entities and so on. We have metadatabase class, and then at the end we are saying that give the name of that. So we say meta weather database, and then we can say that dot allow main query, and then we say dot build, and at the end we are going to close it down. So what's happening over there? Database builder dot get application context. Okay, so what's saying expand call chain to into call sequence. Okay, what's happening over there? Okay, let me so we say database is equal to room dot database builder. We need to provide context dot get application context. We need to provide the meta weather database dot class, and then we are going to provide that meta weather db. Okay, and then we can say that dot allow main queries dot build, and that's it. And at the end we are going to return database. Okay, fine. What's happening over there? Let me build the project. Abstract class, public abstract class. Okay, it needs to extend room database. Okay, so that was the reason it's need to extend the room database. So once it is an extension subclass of the room database, and then we can build it. Yep. So if we look at that now, we are all set to create a database and the SQLite. We can add location and the weather information in that particular specific database. We have all place, everything is in place for the now we come back to that particular, as you know that we are going to use the view model, MVVM model. So first of all we need to have what you can say that a class which is like meta weather REST API handler. So this is the class which is going to access the information. So first of all we have a meta weather DAO, and then we also have the what you can say that the meta weather search location handler. Okay, meta weather search location handler. Okay, I'm just putting all those things, and then we have a public constructor weather meta weather REST API handler, and it is going to have an app, application, and then we can say that DAO is equal to meta weather database dot create instance, and we provide the application to it, and then we say get database weather, so it is going to like get that particular specific uh, information for us. Okay, what else we have? The consolidated, we have results, we have database class, and then we have the fine. So what else we need to do inside our, and then we also need to have that particular specific view model. Okay, inside the view model we are going to have another that is going to, okay, so we have a meta weather view model, and this particular specific class should be a child of the uh, view model. Okay, and then here we can have final application, and then we have a public meta weather view model, and then it get application this dot application is equal to application. So in this way we have initializing that thing, and then we also need to have that particular specific, what you can say that the meta weather REST API handler, REST API handler, and then we are going to say REST API handler is equal to new REST meta weather API handler, and we provide the application as a what you can say that, so it is going to create that particular specific thing. Fine. So what we need to do, we need to have a method which is going to provide the information. Okay, so if we just go back into our we have the this one. Okay, so we have the main activity. Where is my main activity? Let me close this thing. Where is my, okay, so let me see, we have that resource application, so this is the application. So what I'm going to do here, so I'm just trying to change that particular specific thing into the linear layout, and then I say that I want to have the orientation vertical, then the gravity is a center horizontal, and what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to copy paste the information which is in between these two in that particular specific layout. Okay, and then I will explain you what is it. So right now if I go into the design view first of all, because I'm using the recycler view and I did not add that particular specific dependency, so we need to add that dependency here. Number one thing, I also want to add the card view dependency, so we add that particular dependency here, and just try to, what you can say that, clean the project and then rebuild it. So now you can see that it's much more clear. So first of all, this is a title text, we have a line after it, and then we have a again a text view, and then inside it linear layout I mean, we have that particular specific linear layout, and in that we have an edit text and a search button. And then after that we have the recycler view, where we are going to show all the search results which location which came out of our search string that we have provided it here. And because we have the button and then we have location, so I say that I want to create that particular specific, implement that one. So what is the flow? From this particular specific button we pass the search string whichever is given by the user in that search box. It is being passed to the let me close it down, these things, okay, even that one, it will be passed to the view model. Okay, so in that we have a public which does return. Okay, I want to check boolean, I want to check if the result of my search has been successful or unsuccessful. And then we can say that it will return me a boolean value, search meta weather location. Okay, and then we are going to pass the search string. Okay, so it is going to return me something. But now the point is, we need to have, because the communication between our REST API or the network operation is going to be performed by the REST API handler. So we also have a maybe a same, like, similar method here, which is search method strings. Okay, which is a public, which is going to return me. So here I can simply say that return, and then we say that REST API handler dot search string, and we pass that particular specific string to it. For the view model, that is the only thing which we are doing right now. But here what we need to do, we need to create a new location handler, I mean location search handler. We can say something like this. Okay, so this is a location search handler. We need to create a new object of this one. So we can say that location search handler is equal to new meta weather search location handler. And if you look at that, it does not have any kind of like information inside it. Now what we want in this particular specific operation, we want to connect with that particular specific URL, open that connection, read the data, and save it inside our database. And if we want to save it inside our database, then we need to have our, what you can say that a DAO. So we can say that meta weather DAO is equal to null in the beginning, but I also make a public meta weather search location handler, and then we say meta weather DAO, and then we say this dot DAO is equal to DAO, and we can also make it final. I mean, it's not going to change. Okay, what's happened? Rebuild the project. The other thing is that we need to provide the DAO here as well. Okay, so we can say that rebuild. Okay, it's saying that there is something missing here. Okay, yeah, I mean, we have not results return something here. Okay, so now the point is, now the main activity is send the search string to the view holder. View holder pass that search string to the REST API handler, and now we have created that particular specific location okay, we don't want to initialize it here because we want to make that only final. Okay, so we cannot change it later on, so we don't want to initialize. So now if we look at that particular specific thing, here we have a search string, and now we can say something like this: thread t is equal to new thread, which is a based on that particular specific location, t dot start. So when you say t dot start, it is going to go into that particular specific method and run this particular specific method. But the point is we need to pass that particular specific search string to this thread before we can start executing. Okay, so what we can do here, we have a string, search string, and then here we have a public method, public void set search string, which take a search string as a value, or maybe I can say that search string. Okay, so we can have that particular specific search string, and then say this dot search string is equal to, why it is search string. So before we call this particular specific method here, before we start that particular specific thread, what we want to say that location dot set search string, and then we say set search string. Now it's fine. Now what it will do, it will create, we have created the object of that particular specific location searcher class, okay, which is a thread, and then we are set the search string which is coming from our main activity to the view model to this REST API handler, and then we pass it to our location searching thread, and then we can say that we create that particular specific thread, and then we start. And then we also have something here like one more method here, which is a public method which return me a boolean is successful. Okay, if it is successful, it return me something. In the beginning we have what you can say that a boolean value is successful is equal to false. So and then here we can say that return is successful. We can simply that particular specific, is successful, maybe what you can say that get successful method is successful is being returned. Now here we can simply say that location handler dot get successful, and that is going to be returned. So now if you look at that, this particular specific method where we are going to call this particular specific method here, it is called this one, and eventually we have returned the information of successful. But the point is, during that particular specific execution process, we need to set that is successful to true. If we have done the we have read the information and save those information inside the database, then we can say that we have successfully performed that operation. So we change that particular is successful from false to true, otherwise we will keep it false. Okay, but the point is, this is another scenario or the thing. When you say start, this particular specific execution is going on, this will continue that particular, after this start it will create a separate thread and it will start executing or performing that particular specific network operation that we are going to perform in that run method. But it will continue and return whatever. So it will always, if I just try to run that particular program right now, it will always return me the false value, whether we are reading the proper data information, yes or no. Okay, so this is a problem, because we have a main thread in which we are executing this particular specific method, and then we create a separate thread. So what you can say that if I just try to bring up a thing, so this is what you can say that if I just try to show you that what's happening over here, I want to add insert I want to insert something like drawables. So this you can say that this is our main method. Okay, and this main method at this particular specific point, at this point for example, it create another, what you can say that, uh, this is our main, this is a main method. Okay, and then it is going to create another at this particular point. I will just try to maybe at this particular point it create that new thread. So what will happen with the main method, it will create that thread, pass that particular search string and ask it to execute that performance, and I mean fetch the record from the internet and save them inside by database. So at the same time this particular specific main thread will continue to work, it is not going to stop itself, and whenever that particular specific thread is finished, then it is going to change the things into that is successful into true. But what will happen if after this it is automatically say that return me the value of the is successful, that is false, and it will continue to work based on that false information. Okay, so what we want that we want that particular specific thread to be joined by, what you can say that, join this particular specific thread with this, and then once we are finish that particular specific other thread, then we will come back and then we are going to continue that particular specific main thread. Okay, so we are joining that main thread with the other thread. Amen. Okay, so here we can say that t dot join, and then whenever you say t dot join, it say that you want to add the exception. So it is, I mean, interrupted exception, that is something which is belong to the threading of the Java, that is some specific exception that specific thread has been interrupted or stopped. So now this particular specific part is done. Now when we say that return location handler dot get successful, at that time this particular specific thread has already finished the work and it has set the value of the is successful appropriately, whether it is true or false, and based on that it is going to work about that. The other thing that I am going to make in that particular specific location API is a few things, few constant values actually. Final strings, base string. Base string is actually this thing, that particular specific part of this string. That's a base string, weather metaweather.com, and then slash API slash location slash search is equal to query is equal to something. So that is the second part of the location search, and then we are combining this string and this particular specific. You can also say that why we need to base string like that, we can have that particular specific base string like this. Yes, it is possible, because here the base string is this one. So whether you are doing this thing, then we can simply say this thing. Okay, all these things together. At the end we need to just add the search string at the end of this one. So we can simply say that we want to create a url is equal to new url, and then we need to put that particular base url plus the search string. Okay, whatever that search string is coming, we are going to put it. And as you know that it is saying that you want to surround that particular specific thing with the try catch, because it is possible that it throw an exception which is malformed URL exception. The URL is formed from a bad what you can say that address is not properly formulated. Okay, so we have that query, and then we add that search string at the end of this, whatever that is being provided in that search input field by the user, and then we are saying that we want to create. So here we can also have another thing that is called the https URL connection is equal to null, And here inside this try catch method we are saying that or let me copy the things from here, and then now because we are trying, so you say add catch clause, fine. So we have, so what we are saying here, based on that particular specific web address we create a URL, that's a class, and then in that particular, on that particular specific web address we are opening a specific URL connection. So it will return back us a URL connection, then we convert it from the HTTP connection that we have just created, and then we set the method how we are going to get the information. We have a post info method, we have a get method, we have a delete method, so we have multiple, but we want to get the information, so we get. And then we also have a set request property. We set the cache, we are going to use the cache for the connection, yes or no, we say false, then we have a timeout, and then we say connect. Once we have performed the connection, then we are say that int status is equal to connection.get response code. So that is going to give me an integer value, and then I am putting a switch here on that particular specific status, and then we can say that case 200, okay, and case 201. In both cases, I mean, the connection is successful, connection is being created, okay. So in both cases what we want to do, we want to perform some specific reading part. So we say that buffered reader br is equal to new buffered reader, and then we need to provide new input stream reader, and then we say connection dot get input stream. So what we are saying, from that connection we are trying to create a reading stream between our application and the remote location, and we pass that to input stream reader, and then we say buffered reader, and then we have a buffered reader. So buffered reader will help us to read the string. So we can have a string builder, okay, string builder SB, or maybe we don't need that particular specific string builder. We can simply, because normally we will get we say string, and string, it's what you can say that results is equal to br dot read line, okay. Normally in that particular specific case we have only one line, but the point is maybe we have multiple lines that we want to read, so that's why we need to have a string builder SB is equal to new string builder, okay. So that's a new string builder, so we can say that string line, and then here we say that while line is equal to br dot read line, if it is not equal to null, okay. If it is not equal to null, it means that we have read some information, some string from the buffered reader, then we are going to say that string builder dot append line. So it will add that particular specific line in the string builder, and at the end we are going to say that br dot close. So once we have closed that particular stream reader which we have created between our application, but we have read all those information inside our string builder, so we can say that string, we say result is equal to sb dot to string. So whatever we have read from that particular data we have read from that particular specific location, we convert that into the result. So now we may have received the multiple information, or maybe have only one information. For example, if I just try to change that particular specific AUC, it is going to give me only one. And if you say AVUCCB, it say that I don't have any information for that particular specific search string. So that is also possible. So what we need to understand, whenever they are going to return that particular no result, that result will be something like this, as the form of this. Okay, so we need to make sure that we don't have. The other thing is, if we have maybe a one or location information, or maybe we have multiple location information, so we creating a list of locations is equal to new array list, and then we say location. So we created an empty list of locations before we can start processing it. Okay, and if that particular result dot equals, if it is not equal to this, if it is not equal to this, then we are saying that we are successfully, there is some results inside it. In the else part, we can simply say that the is successful is equal to false. We don't have any kind of information for that particular specific location or the search tree. Okay, so one thing is clear: if that particular specific result is not equal to this one, then it is unsuccessful, and we say this something like this. Now if we look at our results, okay, let me change it to AU, and you can see that we have multiple results, and each result is in a separate. So actually it is more like a curly bracket. Inside we have these key value pairs, and that I show you on the inside or what you can say that lecture. So we have those information. So these are more like let me bring back, yep. Okay, so it is more like the information like this, and if I just try to simplify this thing, so it is like that. So we have the information like that, and we need to process them. Okay, so I'm just going to split those informations. So we are going to say that we are splitting these information in case we have those information on the curly bracket, which is the left curly bracket. Okay, it is going to be removed, and for each result, maybe I can just copy paste the things, and then I can explain you the things here. Okay, so what way I'm trying to do here, what that particular specific string, based on that particular specific left curly bracket, we are splitting these strings. So we have in the first location, we will have this part, in the second we have this part, we also have that one. So for each string inside that particular specific results, if that particular specific string is not equal to this, it is not the first record, okay, first index value, then we are going to replace the left curly brackets with nothing. We also replace these double quotes with nothing. Okay, and then eventually it will become something like this, removing that one, and then removing the double quotes, and then ignoring the last character. So removing the right curly bracket, removing the double quotes, and ignoring the last character, it becomes something like this. So now we have key value pairs, and now we are saying that we split that particular specific string based on the comma. It means that this particular specific part will go into the index value 1, this will part go into the index value 2, this part will go into the index value 3, and this part will go into the index value 4, and that longitude value will go into the index value, the next one. So we need to make sure that we are not putting these two in a separate places, but we add the one value. So we have to, so let me remove this particular specific thing here right now, and then we can say that we are creating a location object, empty object. So that is the reason I created a inside the location class, I created an empty constructor. Okay, and then we can, for each index value that is present in that particular specific key value pairs, so index value 0, index value 1, index value 2, index value 3, index value 4, so we have 5 values. So we say that we start with that, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so these are the 5 values. So for the 0 value we are putting that into the title, we are putting that into the, for the 1 value index value putting in the type, then the second we are putting that into the where on earth id, and then in the third we are trying to combine the next part or next index value plus this index value and put all the values inside the latitude and longitude values. And then at the end, when the index value 5, the last index value, it is not going to be added. We can have something like this, like what you can say that we put that thing because we have already put all the values in that location object, and then we can just simply ignore this particular specific part. Yeah, it is also possible, no problem at all. Fine. Right now I don't want to update the information. Fine. And then if that is the case, we have successfully added all those information, and then for all the location, whether it is one location or the multiple location, we have added these location inside that location list. We are going to add that things inside using the DAO dot insert locations, and we pass on the locations inside it. And then maybe we can say try block and put that particular specific thing here, and we say catch exception e, because maybe it is already there, and we can simply say that print that particular specific exception on the screen. And if we are successfully completed, we have read the information from our internet connection, we have added those databases records inside our database, then we can simply say is successful is equal to true at the end. So we have that particular specific is successful true, and then because we have combined these main string and the this thread, and we can get successful, it is going to return the successful information to the view model, and view model is going to return those information to the main activity if whenever that's called. So what's the problem here? Unexpected handling. So it say that you, because remember that because we join, so it could be interrupted, so we can say that add that particular specific exception, or maybe we can simply say that control N surround with the try catch block. Okay, no, control C, I want to surround by try catch block. Okay, and okay, if it is this is the case, I mean there is some error, we can say return false. Otherwise, whatever that particular REST API is going to send us, we are going to send it back. Okay, so we have do something like this. Now what we want to show here, we want to show a list of locations. If we have only one, that's fine, we will show only one. But if we have multiple, then we show multiple in that particular space. But you know that if we want to show something inside our recycler view, then we have two extra classes to be created. One is a view holder, the other one is the adopter. So before we can go into the view holder and adopter, what I'm going to do here, I am going to what you can say that I am going to copy paste that particular specific location results information. So I'm just copy, and then I'm pasting that particular specific XML file here. So you can see that we have already enabled that card view, we have title, we have type, and we have the location information. We also have those things here. So what we are going to do here, I'm going to create another new class which represent the view holder. So meta weather location view holder. Okay, so that particular specific view holder, it is an extends the view holder. Okay, so that is the interview holder. You say that you need to create that particular specific constructor in this one. And now we are going to, what you can say that I'm just going to create those variables for these. We have a title, we have location, so we have the card view, we have the text view, and we also have the location. And I'm going to do what we are going to do here. We are going to initialize these variables. I mean, we have assigned the IDs, search location card title, search location card type, search location card location information. So we are going to initialize these search card title, type, and the location. And then we also need to have that particular specific adapter. So that adapter, what it will do, now we need to create that particular specific adapter. So meta weather location adapter, because it's handling the locations. Okay, I think I have clicked somewhere and then it disappeared. So meta weather location adapter. So in that particular specific location adapter, it should extend the adapter, and it should also have the meta weather location view holder. And then we can simply say that we want to implement those three methods: creating the view holder, binding the data, and returning the data size. So first of all, we need to create a list of not local location list is equal to null. And then here we are going to create a public meta weather adapter, location adapter, and it is going to take a list of locations, and then you say list okay, location list is equal to this. And then here we are going to say that if location list is double equal to null, then return 0. In the else part, return the location list dot size. Okay, so we have created this thing. And then here we can simply say that layout inflator is equal to layout inflator dot from, we get the parent dot get context. And then you can say that view is equal to, I need to import that particular specific class, inflator dot inflate. And then we have r dot layout dot we have that location result item, and then parent, and then we have false. And at the end we can simply say that new meta weather view holder, and we pass on the view to this one. And here in that particular, we can say location is equal to location list dot get. And then we have position, it will give us the location object. And now we can simply say the few things, that holder, inside the holder we have a title tv dot set text, and then we can say that location dot get title, that's a string. Okay, and then we also have holder dot type tv dot set text, and then from the location we are getting the location type. The other thing that is that we need to have that particular specific latitude and longitude values. So we can say that holder dot set location dot set text, and then we say that location, and then we say plus location dot get latitude and longitude values. Okay, so we fix those informations, but if we look at our, we also putting the location as well. So we can simply say that holder dot location is equal to location. So we are putting all those information inside that one, and then we are all set to come to our main activity. Inside the main activity, first of all, we want to have a meta view model. View model is equal to null, and then here we are going to initialize the view model. View model is equal to new meta view model, and we say get application. So we are passing that particular, initializing that thing. The other thing that we need to initialize is here is the this particular specific search string. Okay, so we have a edit text. Okay, let me so we have an edit text. Okay, and then we are initializing that particular specific edit text. We also have a recycler view that we need to initialize. So we have a recycler view, and then we need to initialize them, these two things as well. So we say that search string et is equal to find by id r dot id dot location search string et, and similarly we say recycler view is equal to find by id r dot capital R dot id dot location search results recycler view. And then once we have done that, we have recycler view dot set layout manager, new linear layout manager, and we pass the context. But we are not setting the adapter yet, because when we click on the search engine search button, then we are going to initialize that particular specific. So here in that particular specific thing, string search string is equal to search string dot get text dot to string. So we are, so if that particular specific search string dot is empty, this is empty, it means that you need to provide that particular specific. So I can just making a toast. So you need to provide that search string if you want to search. In the else part, what in the else part we need to see, first of all we need to ask our view model if the view not view model dot search meta string, and we pass on the search string. If that particular specific thing, it means it is a successful operation. And what we need to do in the else part, what we need to do in the else part, maybe we can simply say this thing. We can say that no match location, change search string, because we don't find anything from our search results, so we is not successful, so we give a message. In the other case, we say view model dot, now what we want, now this is another, we have put all the information inside our database which we have read from the internet, fine. Now we want to access those information. It means that we need to have I say that public, which give me the live data, a list of, not list of location, I mean it is going to return me a location address. So we say get location search results, and we pass the search string. Okay, and here we may have the same method inside our handler as well. Okay, here we are going to say that return DAO dot we need to have that particular insert read location, whether read search location results. Okay, that is going to return me so search location results and search string. So if you look at our DAO, we have that particular specific search location, read location. We have, yeah, we have a read look. No, we have a search. Sorry, search location results. Okay, we passed a string, and it is going to return me a live data list of list of locations. So we result this thing, and then here we can simply say that return whatever we are going to get from our REST API handler dot get location results and pass on the search string. So it will give me a live list of locations. So here we can simply say that view model dot get, and then we pass the same search string that we have passed on, and then we say that we want to observe new observer, and then here in this particular specific, whenever that change location data has been changed, we are going to say that our recycler view dot set adopter is equal to new meta weather location adopter, and then we pass on the locations to it. So now if we just try to what you can say that execute that particular specific so let's cross our finger and run that particular specific project and see if it's going to be successful or not. Okay, so far it is successful. If I just give AU and click on the search, now if we just try to do something, it is okay. So AU and search, no match location change search string. Okay, is it practical demo? I mean, it should be connected with the internet. Sometimes it's happened that this particular specific device is actually not connected with the internet, and then you are trying to perform some specific. Okay, let me what you can say that close those things and practical demo. I uninstall that particular specific application and then try to rerun that particular specific project. Coming AU, click on the search string, is it going through? That one is empty, it's not empty. Yes, search string.et. So let me debug it. We can always go and debug it, this thing, and see if it is working or not. So we do that. It is coming here. Okay, that's a good thing. It will show me that provide an input string. Okay, Let me bring my cursor here. Again it comes down here. I just run it. It said no match location has been uh, placed. Okay, because it's returned me the view model. If it is successful, it is going into this part. Okay, it is not going and go and set that particular specific thing. Fine, so let me stop that particular specific application, delete that particular specific thing, uninstall it. I just want to make sure when we hit first time actually it is coming down here or not. Okay, so let me do that, and then we say AU, click on search. Are we debugging or not? Let me make sure that we are debugging itself. Okay, stop it and debug it, not run it. Okay, and we say AU. We're getting some error. What is that? It said iOS timeout error. Okay, so timeout error mean that we need to go into that here, and then we can change that time to more. And I mean, we are trying to give it a more time to make a connection between the remote server and then try to find those information. So we say search. Yeah, it is coming right now. Okay, but the point is size is 0. We are passing the search string, so the location size is 0. It should not be 0. Okay, where is my handler? So we are saying that replace is successful. Fine, and then we need to, are we calling this a right method? That's the other thing. So here this is a view model, which is get location results. I go into that one, and then I go into this one. Yep, search location results. It give me a list of locations. Okay, we are observing here. So we say that get location results search string. We are going to observe it. This new observer, list locations, and then on changed. Whenever that the change is happening, recycle view to set adapter is equal to new meta weather location adapter, and this is the new meta weather location. Let me close it down. We have a new meta weather location. No, this doesn't matter. So LAH, it does not do anything. It does not show me the data. So let me see what are the problems, but this is how we can do it. In the next video I will try to explain you why this particular specific thing happened and we are unable to see that particular specific thing. But this is how we can do the things, because when I need to debug these things and then get back to you, and I will explain you what that particular specific problem is. Okay, thank you students. Last time it was not working, that particular specific locations. When we are searching the information inside our what you can say that uh, inside our database, then actually we need to put something like this. We have a percent, and then whatever, remember we have the search string AU or capital AU, and then we have this. So actually if we only search this part like this, it will say that you need to exactly match AU inside our database. And that was the problem. We are trying to search something which is AU inside our database, and of course inside our database we have Auckland, we have Oklahoma, we have Sao Paulo, but not AU exact title. Okay, so that was the problem, that we didn't get any result out of it. Okay, so we need to provide a string which is more like this. So we with the search string we add the percent sign before and after and make a bigger string like this. Okay, so this means something before or something after, maybe nothing before, nothing after, but it is possible that what we are saying, that we are looking for a location in which the title is actually contains AU. So that was the missing part. And now if we just try to run that particular specific application, then it will be working. For example, I say AU and then make a search. So you can see now it is working. So that was the problem, because we are searching only the search string, and it say that I don't have any location with the title as AU inside it, so that's why it is not returning on me. But now we are looking for something which contain in AU Auckland, Bordeaux again contain an Auckland AU, Sao Paulo again contain an AU, Manukau again contain an AU. Okay, and so on. So that was the reason why it was not working before. So now we need to have a second part. Second part is that we need to, for that particular specific location, we need to search that particular specific weather result. For that particular specific thing, if you look at our view holder, which is our, what you can say that in our view holder we have the location. And now we want to implement one more thing, that whenever we click on that particular specific what you can say that if click on that, if I just say that AU, search it, and if we click on that particular specific card, it will give me the weather result for that particular specific location. So for that we need to add another what you can say that a new activity inside our so we can give it a weather result activity, weather result activity, and then we finish. And then in that particular specific weather result activity, what we have here, so again I'm just trying to go into that particular specific and make that particular specific as a linear layout, and I want to make the orientation vertical, and the gravity is center horizontal, gravity center horizontal, and then I'm also putting some padding, not top, padding 10 dB, and then in between I'm just putting that particular specific. Okay, so we have REST API network operations, and then here we are going to show the forecast, I mean weather results. That's again a recycler view. So this is what we have done. Fine. And the other thing is we need to implement that particular specific, like on the search location card dot set on click listener, new on click listener, and then we can say that we have an intent is equal to new intent, and we say this, and then we also say that weather result dot activity dot class, and then what we want to insert intent dot put extra, and then we need to give, I mean, you know very well that we need to provide that particular specific. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just say that final public static final string, and here I give the name, what it could be. So we say location underscore object underscore extra. So I just try to copy the same thing here and put it here. So here we can say that weather result activity dot location, and then we say location. So we are putting that particular specific location here. Okay, what's happening over there? Cannot resolve the constructor. Okay, so here we don't have this, so we say atom dot get context. So we can't put a this is actually representing the view holder. Here we need the activity which is calling that particular specific intent, and then we say put extra, and then we say location. So what's happening over there? Cannot resolve the method put extra, and then we have the location. We can put the parsable extra, yeah, serializable extra. It should be, I mean, okay, yeah, we need to provide at the end location object, which is one object. Okay, did we make that particular specific location as a parsable? Yeah, we didn't make it, so we can say that implements serializable. So we need to make it serializable. We need to make that particular specific class serializable if we want that to be passed on between one activity to the other. And then we can say that item view dot get context that start activity, and then we can put the intent. So this is a click event that we have managed. So if we just try to run our application again, so if we just try to click on the occurrence, it is going there, so that's fine. Now we need to close it down, that's fine. Weather results again, yeah, weather result activity, I think we have already done this particular part as well, so we don't need to worry about weather model. We don't need to worry again anyone. So we have the adapter, location adapter. Again, we don't need to do anything here. So here what we can, so we have we can say public static location. So again, I'm putting something. So what we are going to do, we are going to read the location from here. So we can say that location is equal to get intent and dot get serializable extra, and then we say location extra. Okay. Now, okay, well, we need to convert that thing into the we typecast location. Okay, so we are trying to get this thing, and if this particular specific location is double equal to null, so then we say finish. Let's see if it is null or not. So we can say, so it is remaining there. It means that particular specific location get the object, and we have some information inside it. So far so good. Okay, So now what I want to do one more thing here, because we are going to show the data in the form of a recycler view, so we also need another layout that we want to show. So let me copy and paste that particular specific. Okay, yep. So if we look at that, we get a temperature, and the other thing is that I also need to have those files. I mean, these are the images files. If we look at our uh, GitHub, so not the GitHub with here, in the beginning we have these files. So I have downloaded these files and put them as a resource inside the Moodle, so you can download and you can put it into your project. So if I look, I took it to my layout. Okay, come back. So if I just say that to the 11, I'm just copying from my computer. Okay, copy 10 items, and then I go into my drawable folder, right click on that, and I say I want to paste them. I want to into the drawable folders and click OK, yes, and then you can see that. So I have a title, the location, and which we are showing the result on which that particular specific date and time, and then we have the weather state. This represent the weather state, they match with each other, and then we have what is the temperature, humidity, and the winds that we want to show it here. So we have that particular specific what you can say that layout, and we have assigned the IDs to each and everything which required for us, and then we close it down. So now because we want to show something on the screen, so using that recycler view, we need a view holder class, so we can say that weather result view holder. Okay, so again it should be a view holder, and then it say that you need to create that particular constructor, and that particular specific constructor uh, I'm just trying to what you can say that putting those variables here. Okay, and then I'm going to initialize those variables. So we have already seen, you know very well that how we can do that, so I'm just trying to copy paste the things from my already done project. Okay, so we initialize the text views. I mean, if I just try to open that particular result item, so we have text view, text view, text view. This is also a text view, this is also a text view, this is also a text view, and this one is the image. So we have one image and the other text views, and then initialize them with the uh, for the view holder. Okay, and then we also have need to have the adapter. So here we have weather results adapter, and we see, and it should be a adapter weather result weather result. What is the name of the weather result view holder? Okay, and then of course it will ask you to implement a few methods, so we need to implement those methods. The data part of this particular specific adapter is a list of weather result. Okay, so weather result list, that is equal to null in the beginning, and then we have a public constructor weather result adapter, and it will take a list of weather results, and this dot weather result dot is equal to results. And then here in that particular specific, if weather result list is double equal to null, return 0. Okay, and in the else part return weather result dot size, so it will return that thing. And here again we need to create the view holder, so we can say that layout inflator is equal to layout inflator dot from parent dot get context. So we get the layout inflator, and then we say that view is equal to inflator dot inflate r dot layout dot, and then we have that particular weather result item, and then we have parent, and then we have false. So now we are going to create a new weather result view holder, and we pass on the view. And then here in this particular specific part, we are going to what you can say that we are going to initialize all those values. So how we can go into, we can say that weather result is equal to weather result list dot get, and that's a position. And then we can simply say that the title is not in the weather result. That's what we know. Okay, so if the title is not there, where we can get it? So if we look at our weather result activity, we have make that particular location as a static location. So what we can do, we can go into that particular specific location. So we say holder dot set title dot set text, and we say that weather result activity dot location dot get title. So we can simply get the information out of that particular specific thing, and then we can see. And then I am going to like do the things here, not weather, or maybe we can put that thing here. So we can say that date created. In the date created, if we look at our results, okay, in the date created we have in the between we have t, okay, and before the t we have the date, and the after the t we have those time information. So what we are trying to do here, so we get the date created, we split that on the base of the t, the separations, and then you say the part 1 represents the date and the part 2 represents the time. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. And then for weather state, that get the weather state name, temperature, get the temperature, not the minimum maximum temperature, the temperature at that time, humidity, and the wind. Now the image is a little bit tricky. Image is based on that particular specific abbreviation. Look, we have a clear weather, okay, and the abbreviation is C. So C is actually c.png. That is the image that we need to show here. So what we can do here, based on that particular specific abbreviation, we have weather.get the weather state abbreviation, and if it is C, we are putting the image as a C, otherwise HC. I mean, we have different images to show based on the weather state abbreviation. So we are trying to show those things here. Yep, that's all done for the adopter purposes as well. Now we come and try to make another what you can say that another Java class, which is a meta weather location. It was the first was the location result. So meta weather location location weather results handler. Okay, and as we know that we want to make that particular specific class as a thread, so we may say implements runnable, and as soon as it say that you need to implement that run method. And this again we have a string base URL, okay, that will be equal to something. So if we look at that this particular specific thing here, okay, so up to this particular specific point the URL is base, Okay, base URL is fine. And after that we have the two things. One thing is okay, where is that? So one thing is the that where on earth ID, and the second thing and the third thing and the fourth, second, third and fourth are, this is a year, this is the month, and this one is the what you can say that day. So that is okay. And then we have string where on earth ID. Okay, and then here we can have a public void set where on earth ID string where on earth ID, and then we can this dot where on earth ID is equal to where on earth ID. And the other thing is we also need to have that particular specific boolean value is successful is equal to false. Okay, and then we also need that particular specific meta whether DAO is we need to initialize that particular specific thing, and where we can do that particular specific initialization, of course we need to have a constructor meta whether location whether results location whether results adopter, and then it should be a public method. Okay, and then it should contain a meta whether DAO, and say this dot DAO is equal to DAO. Okay, so we initialize those things, we set the where on earth ID, and then we also get a boolean value. Get is successful. Okay, and then here we say return is successful, whatever that value is, it is going to be is successful. Fine, set where on earth ID, and then here we need to have that particular specific, so we setting the where on earth ID, we can get the success whether it's successful or not. We have the DAO, so that if we can get the more results, then we can put them inside our DAO. Okay, fine. Yep. Now what we can do, we have the view holder class, we have the view model. Okay, inside the view model we also have the public methods. So we say public, and that is going to what you can say that search location weather results, and then here we are going to pass on a long value where on earth ID. Okay, where on earth ID, and that is going to let me have that particular same methods inside our where is our data REST API handler. Okay, in the REST API handler, again I'm just trying to have the same method which is going to have that particular specific where on earth ID, and if you look at that where on earth ID, it is going to have a long value as an input. Okay, but that is long value. Fine, the inside our okay data handler, so we are going to have another meta whether results handler. Okay, and then here just like we have created this thing, okay, we are going to we have that particular REST API dot search results, and where on earth ID we have pass, and it is going to be a return. It is going to return me a boolean value. Okay, and get, okay, search REST API handler. We have that search method. Okay, I mean it's still trying to like solve that particular specific thing, and then here we have a boolean value. So we are trying to search, yeah, so we are here, that's done. Now we are here, so here we need to make sure that we are passing the long value, and then we are but let me, where the results activity, where the results view holder, we don't need it right now. Weather results activity and adopter, we don't need it, and then we are here. So let me make that particular specific where on the earth, where on earth ID as a long value. Okay, we will convert it here inside the, so it will be a long value, and here we also have a long value, long value, long value. Okay, so we have that particular specific long value that we want to add with the string. Okay, and then we are all set, and then at the end we are going to say that we are going to return that particular specific thing. So here let me say that the we have the weather result handler is equal to new weather result, okay, new meta weather result handler, and then we pass DAO. Okay, and then we can say that weather result handler dot set where on earth, where on earth ID, where on earth ID. Okay, so we have set this thing. Then we say that thread T is equal to new thread, and we pass the weather result handler, and then we T dot start, and then we say T dot join, and it say that you need to have that exception, and then at the end we say that return us the weather result handler dot get is successful. Of course it was going to create one thing for problem for our view view model. So it say that I say that surround it with the try catch block. Okay, and in this case we are going to return false. So either we are returning from here, either we are returning from here. Where on earth ID, where on earth ID, fine. So we have this one. Now again, first of all we need to create a URL. Okay, so if I just try to like search location, so I'm just trying to put a few things here, okay, before we can go and creating this thing. So here we can say that the not the base URL, so because we have that particular specific base URL, and then we have a search string. Search string is actually is where on earth ID. Okay, so location, and then we put a where on earth ID. So first of all what we can do, so we say that string dot value of where on earth id. So what it will do, it will take the value of the where on earth id, convert it into a string, and assign it to it. And what we are doing here in that particular specific thing, so what we are saying that date is equal to new date, it means it will take the current date of the system, today's date, okay. And then I have a simple date formatter which is converting that date into the year, month, and the day, and then convert it into a string date. So what I'm saying, base URL, which is this one, then I add the where on earth id of that particular specific location, then put a slash, and then put a year, then put a slash month slash day, and then at the end again one more slash. So here we are just trying to set the URL string, and then what we are going to do here, then we are going to put a few things here. So let me start again from that particular specific URL string that we have just created here based on the whole address and the where on earth id and the current date. So we are going to create a URL, and then we are opening a URL connection, then we are setting the timeout and the readout, and then all that connect. If that particular connection is successful, then we are going to read the information from that particular input stream, build all the read all the data inside that particular specific string builder, and at the end we assign weather results is equal to so actually this one, so we have the result in that particular, and those results are more like in this form. Remember, I just show you there the results are like this. It has 13 different values with the key value pairs, and then again we split on that particular curly braces, okay. If that particular specific result is equal to empty braces, it means that there is no data, so we don't need to process anything. And then we are splitting based on the left curly braces, and if it is not the first record, and then we are replacing the right curly braces with nothing. We also replacing the what you can say that the double quotes with nothing, and then we also ignoring the last character. And then at the end, what you can say that we have that particular specific string, and we split based on the comma, and then we are here we are going to weather result, okay. And this is a weather result. So actually here we have created a list of weather results which is empty right now before we can process all those records. And then once we have, for each record we create a new weather result, okay. And then for each index value, for the index value 0, that is the id, so it will set the id of that weather object. If the index value is 1, that will set the state name, weather state name of that object, and then weather state abbreviation. So actually it will take the index value 0 and then set the id, index value 1 set the name, index value 2 set the abbreviation, index value 3 set the direction, index value 4, and so on. So it will set all those values based on the index value. So these are what you can say that the long value, it will be a unique value. These are the strings, so that is fine. And but here in that particular specific where you have the floating values, so all those floating values are actually could have a null as a value for it. So we are just checking here if this subpart dot one, the second part, because key value pairs, the second part is actually the value itself. If that value is null, then we put 0.f. Why I put ff? Because 0.0 is by default considered as a double value in the Java system. So if you want to consider it as a floating value, you have to put a capital F or the small f at the end. And then if that is the case, put 0. Otherwise, whatever that floating value is, convert that particular specific floating value, because that is a string. So from the string, convert it into a float value and assign and set that particular to this minimum temperature, maximum temperature, the temperature, or the wind speed, or the wind directions, and so on. So Once we are in the last, what you can say that, weather result activity location, once we are in the last index value, so first of all the predictability, we are also adding the predictability, but we are also setting the where on earth id in that particular specific weather result, so that we can associate the weather result with the actual where on earth id. You can consider it as a foreign key, and then we are adding that particular weather object in weather result inside the weather result list. So we have put all those things together, and if that is the case, I mean we have successfully added all the weather results inside our weather result list, then we are saying that we are going to insert that weather results inside our database, and if that is successful, then we are going to make it true, otherwise it is false, and that is exactly what's happening over here. Why this break is here? Okay, so we have okay, we have the cases and so on, so by default this is false, and then yep, that's fine. Okay, so in this way we can get the results and put them inside our database, and the same thing is again once we have the activity. Okay, so here we are going to uh, what you can say that else, in the else part, if that location object is not null, we are going to try to uh, initialize our view. So what we have, the meta view model is equal to null, and then here we are going to say that view model is equal to new meta view model, and we say get application, because on that particular specific application we also have a recycler view is equal to find by id r dot id dot weather result. If I just try to make sure that we are connecting with the right thing, so we have these activity weather results, and it has the weather result recycler weather result for location recycler view, and then we say recycler view dot set layout manager new linear layout manager, and then we say this, and then at the end we are going to set the adapter. But set the adapter mean that first of all we need to what you can say that we need to get that particular specific result. Okay, so we can say that if view model dot search location weather results, and then we say location dot get where on earth id, if that is the case, and if it is returned successful in the else part. Okay, no. Else part, of course we are going to show a toast. Okay, so if we are going to show a toast, and then it is not going to, and then in that particular specific, we have successfully connected with the REST API, downloaded the data, put that particular specific thing in the database. So what we need to do now, so we said view total, now we need to get the data out of that particular specific view holder. So we can simply say that again public it will be give me a live data, and then we can say that list, and then we can say that we have a weather results, and it will give me a live list of weather results. So we can say that get location weather results, and then here we give the long value where on earth id. Okay, and then here we say return DAO dot we can search location results. That will give me a location, but we are search location weather, and then we pass on the where on earth id. Okay, so that's is going to return me. That's our API handler. So the same thing, we need to have that particular specific thing inside our what you can say that inside our view model. So inside the view model, so what we can do here, I can just try to copy that particular specific method from here and paste it here, and instead of um, saying this, we can say that REST API, okay, dot search results or location, okay, it's a get one, get location, and this will give me the results. So we will where on earth id we are going to pass, so we have that thing, and it is going to return. So we it is going to return me this, and then inside our result activity we say view model dot get, and here we have a location, and we can get the where on earth id and dot observe this new observer, and then here we can say that recycler view dot set adapter new weather results adapter, and then we pass on the results. So let us I hope I'm not missing anything. Let me make sure inside our DAO, where is our DAO? Here it is. So we are saying that whatever the where ID, we are just getting all those records. Okay, so let me run that particular specific application. We can search AU Auckland. Yep, so you can see the current weather of the Auckland. If I just go back and search something else, we get a London. Again, I get the address, what you can say that the weather of the London. So in this way, we are connecting with the um, REST APIs, web services, getting the data, saving them in our local database, and showing them on the screen. So this is how we can handle those things. I hope you have enjoyed, and thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.